Welcome, welcome. Well, this is different. This is Unspoken Reflections. If you don't know me, I'm Jordana. If you do know me, hi. um, I, first of all, I didn't expect this to happen, but it's something that came to mind a while ago and kept resurfacing because I am fastly approaching 30, scary times. And I've been through a lot over the past, say, 6 years. If we're going to push it, let's say 8, but 6 has been a whirlwind. And I feel like every single thing that I was going through, no one really understood. No one no one could tell me it was going to be okay and me believe them because they hadn't experienced what I was going through. That does not mean that my feelings were invalid or those people didn't care for me. That meant that there was no resemblance with another person. And I'm not expecting to be a resemblance, but I also feel like there's a lot to unpack. So this is Unspoken Reflections. There's things that I have not unpacked. There are things that I have learnt lessons from, but not necessarily reflected on them. And there's there's a lot of wisdom that I've come across in the past few years. It's not wisdom that I necessarily should share. I think it's more self wisdom. But it's time to give myself a little bit of space and give myself a voice. I I think women have I think a lot of women feel like they should fit in a box. I feel like everyone feels like they should fit in a box. And that definitely is not the case. People have this consensus that life should be figured out by 30, when really it's only just starting. Why should I have to have my entire life decided in the next 3 months when I'm only really starting to figure things out? So that is why we're in Unspoken Reflections. I have got a lot of topics to talk about. You might stick around or you might be bored as hell. Either way, this space is for me and something that I can call my own. I have spent too long living for other people and being a person that I was expected to be and not the person that I was underneath. I'm not lost. I am rediscovering me. So if that resonates with you, stick around. This is definitely a place where people should be able to unpack who they are really underneath. There's a lot of things to discuss, there's a lot of things to reflect on. And if you've got any questions, fire away. But I'm really excited about who I'm going to discover, because I'm not becoming, I'm rediscovering. I'm rediscovering who I was underneath the masking. I'm rediscovering who I was before the trauma, before the grief, before the diagnosis. As a lot of you are probably aware, I recently was diagnosed with ADHD. I had a pre-diagnosis a few years ago, but official diagnosis came this year. Starting medication changed my life. And over the past few days, I've kind of made a promise to myself that if I want to do something, I need to follow through with it. Because all too often, I come up with a really good idea, or I come up with something that like means a lot to me, and I never do it. And then I regret it. So if it's feasible and within my power, I'm going to do it, whatever it takes. Because I I have the free will to do so. And you do too. It's time to stop living for other people and start living for yourself. Because some people will only be there until their need for you is over. Learned that the hard way. Some people will be in your life for a season, and that's how it's meant to be. They might teach you a lesson, they might be a blessing, or it might be a redirection. But it doesn't mean that it doesn't have meaning. Everything that has led me to this point has helped me grow. And I don't think I would be the person I am today if I didn't go through all the difficulty. So we stay grateful for everything, even the hardest of times. And I'm really proud and excited and content with where I am right now. It's not perfect, but I don't expect it to be. So we're going to keep growing. We're going to keep moving forward. And every obstacle that comes my way, and best believe I'm jumping over that hurdle. Someone very, very close to me was kind of just sitting with me in my emotion last week. And big shout out to her, because she said, the one thing I rate about you is no matter what life throws at you, no matter how hard things get, you're always thinking about the next step. You're always thinking about what comes next and how to overcome it. I said, of course. Like, how else am I meant to move forward? No one's going to do it for me. She was like, but that's just it. You overcome absolutely everything. You might be going through the worst of times, but you still have like the goal of what comes next. But to me, like that's normal, because if you don't come up with what comes next, well, you're just going to stay stuck. And that goes for anything in life. You're never going to achieve something if you don't have even an idea in place. You don't necessarily have to have a plan. Plans are made to be bent. Structure, a structured plan, doesn't always give you the best result. And I've learned that with my superpower. So, next few topics might be interesting, might not be. But to me, it's something necessary.